Page 22, Waltz in A flat. With that title, it says a lot. Waltz, it's a waltz, so we expect it to be in 3/4 time. A flat is a key, because they can put the name of the key as part of the title of the piece. You get something in C major, or something in G, or something in A minor, or whatever. This is an A flat, the key of A flat. So this is a new key for us, so now it's time to do my scale video on A flat major. Learn it 1 octave up and down. Do the trill exercise, everything I explain in it. And also go ahead and do the scale for F minor, because F minor also has 4 flats. Just 1 octave up and down is all we're after at first. Just learn the scale. You get used to which black keys are involved. That way when you get the pieces, you don't worry about, well, which notes are flat. Just play the stuff in A flat major. If you know the scale, you just play the stuff in the scale, except for the accidentals. So let's talk about this waltz. I look it over, it's about a page long. It's longer than that, but it's a page of music to learn. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. 4 flats in the key signature, we've already covered that, A flat major. 3/4 time signature, we covered that also because it's a waltz. Let's take it one hand at a time because things are getting a little bit tricky. The right hand, you're starting 3rd finger here, then put your hand in this position, way up here. And in A flat major is a lot of several of the other keys that use a lot of black keys. We're ending up in here a lot. You can't be out here too much, and because of all the black keys, you're going to be up here quite a bit. However, we'll do the best we can with it. You can come out here to play the first note, and then slide up to play the A flat, and it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2. There, the 3rd measure. 1 and 2. 1 E and a 1 E and a 2. I'm too lazy to count that. I just do a 1 and. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Then reach up a little bit. 4th finger. So we got the F. 2, 3. And now we changed hand position. And then the second line, second measure, the C's, it's a 2-1. We're going to change hand positions on the repeated note. Natural. And then the first ending there, they reach down for the G's. See, in my opinion, that sounds wrong. I've gotten this piece at other arrangements, and I've always changed it because I didn't like it. I just go down and do the A flat like you were at the beginning. I do that. However, if you want to do that, just reach down. I just think it sounds wrong. Because at the repeat sign, you go back to the beginning. However, let's go on. The last measure of the 2nd line, you're here. You're staying here. 3rd line, they're all black keys. You can be up here. And then thumb, 2. They say a 3. I suggest use 2. This is the 3rd line down, 2nd measure. You're starting out with 3rd finger, but after the C's, use 2. Just change there, because you need 2 on that. And then going on the F's, it's a 3-2, because we're changing hand positions again. And then once you cross over, no. I mean, there's times you might have to do that. But that's really awkward. This is the 4th line down, 1st measure. Crossover. I don't recommend that. We need to fix that. I don't want to cross from here to here. So I don't want thumb on that note. Some other finger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go thumb here, and then 3. And then for the next measure, rather than I can't do 3 again, I'm going to use 2. And then I can go back to what they're doing. And 3 on that after that. So again, the first measure, the 4th line, it is a 3. It is a 4, 3, 1. Then a 3, then a 2. And when you get to C again, then I'm going to use a 3. Here. The rest of it's pretty much the same as what you've had. Let's go down to the last line. The last 3 measures, you're here. And 2. And they want you to do here and cross over. And you can do that, they're both black keys. Left hand is just broken chords. You got this one and then block chord. All together it's a broken chord. Okay, 1, and you're gonna have to move here. 1, 2, rest. Make sure you have the rest in there. Don't hold the chord down. You can do a 1, 2, 4 is fine, or here. I don't know. It's whether you want your hands up here or not. Just you decide on the fingering and stick with what you've got. Second line, it's an F. And a 4, 2, 1 is fine because you don't have to use little finger. Some people use a little finger on all of them and some don't. You can do a 4 or a 5. You decide. Second line, third measure. It's a here. And then this fingering, they want this. I can do that. Either fingering, I don't care which. And then here, it is an F, G, and a B natural. So I went from here to here. The G stayed the same. I just, and then down. Third line down, E flat. I trust you know the names of the notes in the music by now. I would certainly hope so. If not, you might want to go back to the previous books and go through them carefully and slowly and learn to read the music. Third line down, third measure. That is a G flat, A flat, F, or C, excuse me. So it's, and at the end of the line, that is an A flat, a B flat, and a D. See, it would be a D flat, but they put the natural sign there. And then E. Yeah. And the fourth line down, you don't need the flat sign, it's a flat anyway. But you just had a natural and they're being clear. They want to make sure this is a flat here. That's fine. Because some music might not give you the flat. You're expected to know it. Last line, the last two measures. It's a C, and then we have an E flat, a B flat, and a D flat. All black keys, so you can be up here. And then the bottom and top notes stay the same. It's just the B flat changes to a G. That's all that's doing. And then here. Well, this should be interesting. Let's put it together and see what kind of a mess this is. It's here. There, when I play beat 3, the left hand comes up. Again. You get the idea. The rhythm-wise is pretty simple. It's that throughout. The kicker is you're moving around, moving the hands. You got to look down at the keyboard for the left hand here. But you only need to glance down. You don't have to study the keyboard. You just glance down long enough to see where you got to go, and then you can look back at the music. And you'll gradually get this rhythm of when to look at the music and when to look at the keyboard. Because once you have the notes pretty much, then you need to go over it slowly and carefully and get rid of the hesitations. So it's a steady beat all throughout. And that may take a while. Once I have all that, then I think about the articulation. And in this piece, it's pretty connected here. You can't connect the repeated notes, but pretend you can. It's connect. So I can't hold that down for a full beat. I got to get up here. So it sounds like a staccato. The pedal will help us out, but I'm thinking connected. Now at the end of the first line here, that is actually the end of a phrase. So if I play the melody quickly, I might be able to hear the phrases, the musical thoughts or the musical sentences. That's one thought. And then I'll lift up. That's another thought. So I would lift up after, like taking a breath. So I'm connecting everything as best I can within the phrase, and then I'm lifting up at the end of the phrase. The left hand don't pay any attention. The left hand does its own thing. So the last measure, the first line here, I'm lifting up, but this stays down. So I'm like taking a breath, but the left hand stays down for that whole beat. So I have a phrasing there, and then at the end of the second line, that starts a new phrase. And all of that was one phrase, as near as I can tell. But when you get to the fourth line, this is interesting. This happens sometimes. That note in the second measure, the C, that ends the phrase that was happening. It ends it. But it also starts the next phrase, the same note. It's like the phrases come together. So the first phrase ended something there. That ended the phrase. But this starts a phrase. And when that happens, when they're connected, they're called elided phrases. You connect them. So I'm going to connect all that together. So I'm going to connect the third and fourth lines all together. And then the last line in the first measure, lift up there for a new phrase there. Yeah. That's my impression of the phrasing. You get into it, and it's different ways of interpreting the music because the phrasing isn't given in here. So you have to try and how do you think it should be? Or your teacher will do it. Now, once I have the articulation down, sort of, I think about the dynamics. They don't give it at the beginning. I'm suggesting you're sort of MP, so sort of gentle. I think they should have given you a dynamic at the beginning, but just put in an MP in there, so it's sort of soft. The left hand has to be very soft. It's in the background. Up a little bit here if you want, just a speck. And then you get to the third line and second measure. Now you're going to crescendo. You're going to be forte or loud by the end of the line. So we plan it out. Each one of these, each one of those, I'm just going to get a little bit louder with each one. So in the third line, we're sort of soft. Sort of soft. Now come up just a hair. A little more. Now, there, that's loud. And then the next line you get a diminuendo to come back down. And here you only get 3 beats to come down, so each beat is a little softer. Because the first one's still loud. It's softer and then soft. That P in the fourth line, diminuendo to soft, that tells me it's soft at the beginning because it's the same as the beginning. I see no reason to have it different. I told you MP, you can make it P if you want. Just take it down to soft. That means the left hand's very soft, of course. Yeah. And you stay there at the bottom, then you're soft for the rest of them. You have to kind of figure things out and experiment. And that's why we use pencils to write in the music so we can erase and change things. Yeah. Speed-wise, it's just a middle-of-the-road waltz, not fast or slow, just like I've been doing, I think. 1, 2, 3. It's almost too slow. We'll speed it up a little bit. It was 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you can play it accurately with no hesitations, that's fine. If not, slow it down. Remember the natural accents. 1, 2, 3. Well, exaggerate them if you need to. 1, 2. Each one of these go up to here. It's that feeling all the way through. It leads into here each time. There is a poco at the bottom, poco retardon. Just slow down a little bit. I tend to slow down more than a little bit, but it's a interpretive thing. You feel it on how much you slow down. Now once I have all that, then I add the pedal. And we do need pedal on this because it's really choppy. And this needs to flow gently. And as usual, I don't care for the pedaling. They're keeping the pedaling simple for you, I'm sure, but that messes up the sound. And I don't want you to get used to hearing that little sound. So we adjust the pedaling. If I pedal it the way it's shown, the first line, it sounds like this. I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal, and when I change the pedal at each measure, it's after I play the note. So the pedal overlaps or lags behind the notes just a speck. That's what it sounds like. And if you're not listening too closely, that's not too bad. Otherwise, it's yuck. So what do? Well, we experiment and see if we can fix it. Supposing I lift up on the beat 3 so I can hear the rest in the left hand. What does that sound like? Well, here. That helps to clear out the melody a little bit. I have to be careful on the repeated notes. I want to pedal those because I want to connect them. So again, I don't lift the pedal up until I play the second note. Here. That, I like that better than what they're doing. And I can pedal it that way pretty much all the way through. As you get to the bottom, the last couple measures, they're not pedaling that. No, I disagree with that. I want to connect these chords. And I need the pedal for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pedal on every beat. Here. So it's here. Change, change. You change the pedal after you play the note. The pedal needs to overlap it. This ensures there's always sound. Here. And then come up together. That's how I would suggest you pedal this. We have the same thing in the fourth line down first measure here. I want to connect this. I need pedal for that. So I'm going to pedal them, but I want to change it on every beat. You lose the phrasing, but you still do the technique for the phrase. You feel the phrases whether you can hear them or not. And that's my suggestion on the pedal. You see the first and second endings at the second line there, so you know how those work by now, I hope. You have to listen to the sound that you're after. It's like on the second line, third measure, again, I would pedal each of those on that one. Please don't copy me on it. You get into it, you feel it, you make it yours. Once you can play this slowly, at least with no hesitations, then come back to the video, let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and the softs. I'll pedal it like I suggested. We will do the repeat, and I'll give us 3 counts. Let's try it together, slowly. 1 and ready and go, and 1 and 2.